Hello, and welcome to episode number 19 of the Hobbies and Happiness podcast, where we talk all about the hobby that makes us happy, tabletop gaming. I'm one of your hosts, Dan.
And I'm Jim, and today we're talking about co-op versus competitive tabletop games. Let's get into it.
That was like the best I think you've ever done.
First try.
First try. All right. So today on the podcast, we thought we would talk about competitive and co-op games in tabletop. What we actually we have this like long list of topics, topic ideas that we kind of want to talk about in the podcast, and it's literally like 4 pages long.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's at least 100 different topics.
Yeah, and like we're constantly adding stuff all the time. Yeah. So what we literally just did was we just sat down and we went through it, and I'm like, you know what? Here's one that we haven't talked about, and I think would be an awesome topic to discuss. Yeah. And you know what? It really kind of goes well with what our most recent video. So we've been kind of doing these videos on Disney Villainous. Mm-hmm. So we just released our overview / how to play video. Yep. If you haven't checked that out yet, go check that out on YouTube. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to do, and also it was like a lot of fun putting it together on my end too. Yeah. And then this week we are going to be dropping the remainder. Well, I guess it's not the remainder. Yes. It's a completely new game, and so I'm working on it, and I'm laughing as I'm putting the whole thing together, because there's a couple of moments in that game where it's like, oh my goodness.
Oh man, I can think of some of the moments. One really big moment.
All I will say is I'm shaking.
I was shaking.
So that's going to be fun. So that video is dropping on Friday. Okay. Friday, what is that? I don't even know the date that is. I think it's the 29th. No, I don't know. Today is. I don't know, but today it's Friday, whatever date Friday is. Yeah. And now that I'm saying that, I want to know what it is, so I'm gonna pull it up.
It's Sunday today.
Yeah, today is Sunday. As the day we're recording this is Sunday. Friday is. Why are you okay? You are pulling.
So for you guys,
it's the 30th. Friday is the 30th. Yeah, Friday is the 30th. Okay. Yeah. So Friday.
We're almost done with this month, too.
Dude. I know, man. So I just got back from vacation. Mm-hmm. We were up in Paradise, Michigan, mm-hmm. And I could see Canada. Literally, we drove all the way north.
Or was it the
UP? Okay. Yeah, we were in the Upper Peninsula. Okay. And so we went to one of the places we went to was Sault Ste. Marie. Yeah. And so we saw the Soo Locks, where a bunch of these cargo ships come through, and you could literally see Canada. So we were driving on the interstate, and we took the literal last exit you could on before you hit Canada.
Oh.
Yeah. I didn't realize we were going that far north. I'm like, holy cow. And it was funny because I went over to my parents. My parents watch our dog for us. And I'm talking to my parents, telling them about the trip and whatnot. Mm-hmm. And my dad was like, well, if you're that close to Canada, why don't you just go to Canada? I'm like, I have no desire to go to Canada. I mean, I'm already in America, the good old US of A. Why would I want to go to Canada, A? It's like, well, just to check it off. I don't care. Yeah. But I will have to admit, it kind of would have been cool just to go. I've never been to Canada.
I'd like to see Niagara Falls. That's about it.
And that's just all the way on the opposite. Well, because we're in the middle of the country. Yeah. Niagara Falls is all the way on the east side of the country.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, but it was cool. Seeing the locks was pretty cool. So it was an enjoyable vacation. I got to pet a bear, a baby black bear.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah, we were in there for 30 seconds, and we got some pictures. And I'm gonna show some pictures right now.
Oh man,
we're gonna put some pictures up on the trip.
There.
And that was fun. So there's a picture. Actually, I have to make sure this is okay. With my wife to make sure that I got to make sure it's okay to post these pictures.
All right, we'll post maybe
what we can.
We'll post maybe one.
I have to make sure my wife says it's okay. But it was funny though. There was this one time. So when we were petting the bear, and so we went to. It's called Oswald Bear Ranch, I think.
All right.
And so my daughter goes in there and she's not petting the bear, cause we're allowed to pet the bear for a very short amount of time. And she's sitting there like, what am my goodness. Oh my goodness. It was the cutest picture. It was the cutest picture ever. But my wife, like, she kind of made her pet the bear because she was like she was apprehensive. But then, you know, once she did it, she's like, oh, I pet the bear.
Yeah.
So the kids had a lot of fun.
That's how it is with kids.
Yeah. Yeah. They had a lot of fun. Yeah. So it was a good time. It was an enjoyable time, but it is good to be back. But it was a very nice, relaxing. It was one of those vacations where it's like you just get to relax and chill. Yeah. Normally, we're always like up and going from place to place to place, but this one is like we just did like one thing a day. Yeah. So it was nice. It was very nice to just relax and chill. So
that's kind of how it is in like when you go to Disney. It's always like something to do always.
Yeah. And you've never gone with my family. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's fun. Like, don't get me wrong. It is fun, but
man,
like,
it's been close to like 10 years since I've been to Disney.
Seriously?
Yeah, it's been a while.
We go like...
And my mom has that, what is it, DVC? Is that what
that
it's
Disney
called?
Vacation Club, yeah.
She has that.
Yeah, that's how we go all the time. But we normally, like, okay, so it's funny. Before I got married, I never been to Disney. Never once been to Disney. Okay. Now, since I've been married, I think I've been like 4 times.
How long have you been married? 7 years?
7 years.
7 years, okay.
Yeah. So I've been at least 4 times because we went on our honeymoon. Yeah. We just went, and then we went before, and then I believe we went another time. So yeah, I think it's been 4 times. I'm pretty sure it's been 4 times. It's crazy.
Dan gave no info on that except for honeymoon. I've been there recently, a time before that, and there was another time, I think.
It makes sense in my head. It does. It makes sense in my head, and that's all that matters.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure it's been 4 times. I couldn't tell you the years, except when we got married, which was 2014. And then this past year, which was 2020. Okay. Yes. Okay. And so because the last time we went, it was with all the masks. And then since we've been, you know, we were really paying close attention to see what Disney was going to do, like what their rules were going to be. Yeah. So, yeah, those are the 2 years that I can remember, but I'm pretty sure there were 2 other times.
Yeah. My favorite thing in Disney is probably Epcot. I love
Epcot's fun. Do you like
all
the food?
I like all the different stores, like all the themes with everything. Yeah. You know, it's like, oh, we're in Germany. Now we're in Japan. Now we're in old school England. Now we're in all this stuff. And
Epcot's fun.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, since we've been going, I've really enjoyed it, and since I'm really big into photography now, like what I enjoy doing is just going off by myself and just taking cool pictures. Yeah, I've got a ton of pictures that I actually still need to edit. Yeah, but I enjoy doing that kind of stuff. So anyway, Disney's fun. Okay, before we get way too far off point here. Yeah. So villainous.
I was like, what are we talking about again today? I'm like, I don't think we're talking about Disney.
No, but villainous is actually is a good example of a competitive game, right?
Yes.
And if you haven't watched his videos, go watch his videos. We're gonna be doing like strategy guides on all the villains. So stay tuned for those. Yes. But Villainous is a perfect example of a competitive game, right? So we've done Disney Villainous, and we've recently also played Marvel Villainous in a 4-person game,
that one is a lot more competitive.
Oh yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah. But then you have games that are not designed to be competitive; they're designed to be more cooperative, right? So it's very interesting. Okay. If you go from a game like Disney Villainous, right, which is a competitive game, right, and then you go to a game that is cooperative. So let's just say Lord of the Rings LCG. Okay, Lord of the Rings, the living card game. Well, it's technically, I think it's just called Lord of the Rings, the card game.
Okay.
But that game is not designed to be competitive. It's designed from the ground up. To be a cooperative, to be a cooperative game, which is so not player versus player, but all the players working together to achieve a common goal. Same thing with Arkham Horror, the card game. That's also a competitive game. So you go from something like Disney or any competitive game, but in this case, we're just talking about Disney Villainous, to your goal is to destroy the other players at the table, essentially, right?
Pretty much, yeah.
it's a completely different mindset. And like if you just go from one to the other, the shift it's weird. It's kind of weird because you're 1 minute you're out to destroy the other person, and then the next minute it's like you're like,
win,
okay, now we need to work together.
Now I know I was a big D guy, a big bad guy to you in our previous game.
Yeah. Now I need you to trust me, and we need to work together.
Now I know I never trusted you in Secret Hitler before, but this game's different, and I swear I'm not a bad guy. Wink.
So, oh man, but like that, it's those kind of dynamics that can come up.
Oh yeah,
right. And it honestly, like if you have a group that you normally play with, right, it can, playing these different types of games can really help. Can really help each individual person. Like if they have a tendency to be uber competitive or over competitive, if you go from playing a very competitive game to then play something that's more cooperative, like it gets them into the let's work together mode.
Yeah.
And like, I don't want to say it brings them out of their shell, but it gives them the opportunity to, work. I don't even want to say work on themselves, but basically no, like it really does. It does give themselves. It gives each person the opportunity to put aside their ego and say, okay, we all have this one common thing that we're trying to do. Like literally there's nothing in this game that's going to say I beat you.
Yeah.
Right. It's either we all win or we all lose together.
Or they're so competitive that they find a way to still beat you in that co-op game. Who would do that, Dan?
Bobby.
Oh, Bobby. So
okay, so what we're talking about, it was okay. So we played Legendary.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
And Legendary, and there's a couple of deck builders around. Like the two that I'm thinking of are Legendary and DC Deck Builder. Okay, Legendary, I believe, is originally it was supposed to be more cooperative. Okay, they do have victory points in the game, right? To where like you're all trying to defeat whoever the mastermind is. Okay, and then some of these cards have victory points. I think most of the cards. No, it's the villain cards. Like it's cards in the villain deck, I believe. That are the ones that have the victory points.
Yeah, I don't think there's other ones that have it.
Yeah. So what happens is, and they even say it in the rules. They're like, this is cooperative, but there's also victory points. So you can still play against your friends to see who has more victory points. Yeah. And I've gotten to the point now to where if it's generally a cooperative game, I guess I tend to have more fun cooperating with someone else versus competing against them. However, it's also gotten to the point now to where I am a very competitive person, but I've really kind of learned to just simmer down on my competitiveness and just honestly just enjoy the experience. Yeah. And even if I don't lose, I'm more so looking to get out of the game just a good experience, even if I lose. Yeah. Like I've really gotten to that point. And I think
I was going to say you've come a long way.
Yeah. in kind of a short amount of time too, to be quite honest. Yeah. But it's and honestly it's something that you have to each person has to figure it out for themselves. Yeah. They really, really do. Yeah. And it's not going to happen overnight, number one. But also, like, you have to play more games. You know, like you can't just
need like a whole lot of experience.
Yeah, you can't just keep playing competitive game after competitive game.
Yeah, and like the more you play with new people and you want to teach them more and you want them to have fun more than you having fun, and it just gets to a point where it's like, yeah, I enjoy playing games, but I more so enjoy playing games with just other people. Yeah. Yeah. So
seriously, like it's you start to develop bonds and relationships over games in the table, and like it can start with playing Magic, right? Like just a competitive game that you're just duking it out with somebody else, and like you're even at a tournament and you're trying to win, right? And it can start there, but then just grows into something else, completely and entire. And that's kind of what happened with me, like. When I really got into this space was more so started for me around Magic, right? And I was playing. when I started playing, I was playing competitively, not competitive to the point to where like I'm just going to tournaments and just trying to win all the tournaments.
Yeah.
But the formats that I'm playing were just one-on-one.
Yeah, there's no like co-op with it, which
Right,
is
right.
the great thing about Commander, because it's a co-op but also competitive format.
Right.
So.
Right. Commander, in my mind, Commander's the best format in Magic. Just it's so much fun.
Overall, I would say probably.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
And one of the great things about Magic, and honestly just any big card game in general, is the different formats that there are, and honestly just the ability that players have to just play how they want when they want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like with a lot of card games, just like Magic, like I've seen so many people like on Twitter and on the internet making up all these different formats because like they're upset with Commander or they're upset with the Commander, the CAG. They made a who cares, man? Like then these players just go and say, "We have a new format." Like I don't see a bad thing about that.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
outside of people's attitudes and like them just
that's
being,
the only downside about it.
Right.
Because then sometimes they can take people from those other formats and just talk down upon them as like, how can you play this after this happens? And it's like, come play this one with us. And they're like, but what is that?
Yeah. Well, like, like you in that instance, like you have somebody who, in my opinion, is having a terrible attitude and then just saying, hey, they're playing this dumb format. How can you do that after they made this decision? You need to come play this. That's better. Now, regardless of whether you agree with them or not, like if you go play that other format, hey, you've now learned this new format that now you can then make the decision, which one do you like better?
Yeah.
Right. And then you go tell your friends, and if this format is legitimately better or there's nothing is
not
better.
Even better.
Right.
Just
It's all
you're having fun with it in a different way.
Yeah, because it's all subjective.
Yeah.
Right. It's everything for the most part in tabletop is subjective.
Just like how I have fun in Modern, which is not the same fun that I have in Commander. And same thing for like Standard. I go to Standard to hopefully try some new deck.
Yeah.
Because most of the cards that are in Standard are not being played in Modern.
Yes.
Or Commander.
And that's I think it's a really great thing about different formats. Okay. You go from playing Standard to then play Commander to then play Modern to then play Pioneer.
Yeah.
The card pool is different, right? Yeah. But it's not even that. It's the cards being played in these formats are all totally different. Yeah, like if you're playing it in Modern, are you playing it in Standard? Probably not.
Yeah, probably not. The only thing the only deck I can think of was when that cat combo list was in Standard, but then it was also in Pioneer.
Yeah, it was in Standard. It's Standard, Historic, Pioneer. Did it ever get to Modern? Did people play it in Modern? I'm assuming they did.
So actually with Modern Horizon, there was Asmorano, Martica Dice, Nicolta car.
That one.
So that car is playing cat combo.
Really?
And it was doing great.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. But going off of that, if you expose yourself to these different formats, even within the same game, since we're just talking about Magic right now, you have different experiences, and then you might come to find out that you like more competitive formats or environments, or maybe you like more cooperative, working together with other players. Those different types of formats. You never know, but you're not going to know unless you put yourself out there and you go and try these other formats.
Have we got you to play Betrayal yet?
No,
House on the Hill or Baldur's Gate? Okay, so we have to get you to play that because it is a co-op game.
Yeah,
but then it's also not a co-op game.
Okay, so how is it not a co-op game?
So it's not a co-op game depending on how the game ends. Okay. So sometimes it's a co-op game, sometimes it's not.
Okay.
And sometimes it can be 4 people versus like just trying to figure out how to get out of the house, or it can be 3 people versus 1 person who's the traitor, or it can be like 2 people are the traitor, or something along those lines. Or you, the person who starts the hunt, can be the only real person. Everyone else in the house was a poltergeist.
Okay.
And now you have to get out of the house while they're throwing things at you.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a crazy game. So like at first it's co-op because you're working together, and then you also still have to work together to end the game.
Okay.
Versus the guy who's the traitor, or you all have to work together. It's a great game. We're gonna have to play it.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to play that for sure. Yeah, it sounds and there's quite a few different versions of that game, isn't there?
Yeah, so they have the base game, which is Betrayal at House on the Hill. They have an expansion for it.
They've got a legacy version.
They have a legacy version of it, and they also have a D&D version of it, which is Betrayal at Baldur's Gate.
Right. I know that.
And they also have a Scooby-Doo version.
They have a Scooby-Doo version?
There's a Scooby-Doo version. Yeah, I have yet to play it, though.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
I have yet to play it.
That's cool.
And so that's a great game.
Okay, what kind of game what genre would you classify Betrayal at?
Betrayal. Ooh.
Because it's not social deduction.
No, it's not. Pretty much everything is left open on the table. It's all like public knowledge and stuff. I guess just strategy board game.
Yeah.
But it's not like a normal strategy like Risk.
Yeah, right.
Or like a resource management.
Right.
Well, I guess it's a little bit resourcey.
Okay.
Because you have like power, speed, knowledge, and sanity.
Okay.
And you have to make sure none of those hit 0, otherwise you die.
Okay.
You're out of the game.
Okay.
So it's very little resource management, but it's really just life totals essentially.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't really know what that game's classified as.
Okay. So. Yeah, I'd be interested to know.
Yeah,
no. I'd have to look that up.
I've been playing this game for years.
Because I mean, there's so many different genres, like dice placement, worker placement, deck building, whatever. So I'd be interested to know how that would be classified.
I mean, because it's a lot like D&D, because you are moving around your characters in these locations.
Yeah.
You're getting stats. You're making dice roll, but it's not D&D.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or minis game.
Yeah.
So it's a strange game.
Yeah. But it sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It sounds a lot.
Not to mention,
it sounds like a lot of
there's
fun.
like if we're just talking about specifically the first game, there's like 64 different ways to end it.
Oh, really? It's got
so it all depends.
And that's just ways to end the game?
Yeah, ways to end the game.
That's crazy.
And then we talk about placement of like when you're putting down the mansion's tiles.
Yeah,
each one of those can be a different place than where it was before. And then that'll also change up the outcome of the games.
Right.
And the game is nuts.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's also a little bit like Clue in terms of like, oh, we got this item at this place, and that's when the haunt started. So then you go find the way that starts.
Okay. Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah. You've talked about this game a lot. You have. He's talked about it. Seriously, ever since we started doing the podcast, I think because when we were talking about like our favorite games, that was on there. That was on your list.
There's been multiple times where I'm playing nothing but Betrayal when I was at Grapple, like not even working there.
Yeah.
Like it would be me, Cody, random people. There'd be like 7 people all in the same game, or one person's waiting on the sideline to jump in. And we were playing for hours. Is nuts.
That is the sign of a good game, I think. Like seriously, when you've got people that are just like lining up to play it at your LGS, like,
and it wasn't one game neither. That takes like several hours. It takes like 30 minutes, and then you go into the next game, and then we just went into the next and the next and the next, and it just took. We went for a while.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you want to check that game out, then you definitely should.
Yeah.
Totally. For sure. Like for real. Like we're gonna have to play it at some point.
I guess you could also call it a mystery. It's a mystery game too.
Yeah, I mean,
you don't know how it's gonna end.
It's a role playing game, basically. Correct? Isn't it kind of a role playing game?
No.
Well, I mean,
kinda.
But aren't the players involved in the game taking on some kind of role within the universe? Or no?
I guess, yeah.
I'm just gonna have to play it.
But I also, I wouldn't consider Magic a role-playing game neither, though, because you're still being a wizard casting these spells to beat the other wizard guys.
Yeah, right. No, I got you. That makes sense.
I wouldn't classify it as it.
That makes sense. That makes sense for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I mean that makes
You know
sense.
what I'd classify as a fun game. It's a good one. It's a great game.
We're gonna put it under the let's see what's
Where's our Amazon affiliate link?
That's at least the second time that you said that in like
The
as
last,
many days, I think.
Yeah, a few days. Yeah, yeah. We need to get that,
And we will for sure. Yeah, we totally will. Anyway, yeah, I have to play that game. I think there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. I for sure need to play the game. Yep. Okay, but before we get any further, Jim, what I kind of want to ask you is, what kind of game do you prefer? Do you prefer at this point now? Do you prefer playing something that's competitive or something that's more cooperative?
If we talk about what I'm going to have, all right, what I know what I'm going to have more fun with, it's co-op game.
Yeah.
There's nothing I'm going to have more fun than
Okay. That's a different question, though. So you're going to have more fun playing cooperative. Yeah. You personally. But what do you prefer? Do you prefer playing something more competitive or do you prefer playing something more cooperative? But I mean, as you're thinking about that,
I think I already know the answer. It's got to be co-op.
Yeah.
Like I just prefer co-op games.
Yeah.
There's a lot of times where like me and you are playing a game 1v1 and I tell you I'm cold. My hands are cold. I'm nervous.
That's Jim's code for I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, like I don't want to do this. That's my body kicking in. Is like get away from this.
But see, what you saying that now, like that also just makes me want to just be like, okay, I get that, but what I think you need to do is learn the deck that you're playing basically, and then we'll kind of revisit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's for sure.
So
I always like having some form of background knowledge on whatever game it is that I'm playing.
Yeah. I mean, I think everybody does.
Yeah.
You know, I think we would all, especially in a strategy game. I have to know what I'm doing. I can't just come into this game cold. You got to give me a few minutes to figure out.
If the person you're playing with already knows how to play the game, and it's like, why am I here? You're just gonna destroy me.
Correct. Correct. But I also think you saying why am I here? I do think it's a good opportunity for you to learn the game a little bit, as opposed, if you're playing a competitive game.
Yeah, that's what I'm more so talking about. Like the person just destroys you, and you're just like,
but see,
you could have proxy handed
but see, that's actually a good thing to talk about as far as shift your mindset. Like your mindset then is not to win. And even if you know what's going on, like if we're coming in and Jim doesn't know what he's doing, but I do, my mindset isn't going to be, I'm in this to win it, right?
Yeah.
No, I think in that moment, my mindset is going to be, I'm just going to have fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to let him just learn the game, learn the deck, figure out what his strategy is, and then realize that this game isn't going to be competitive because, if I win, okay, cool. But my whole goal here is not to win.
Yeah.
The goal is to teach Jim how to play, number one, but also have him get to the point to where he has a much better idea of what he's doing with this deck, for instance.
Yeah, then it also comes down to the mindset of the person you're playing with.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
That's also what it comes down to, which is
right. So period, I think it just totally comes down to to everyone's mindset at the table. It's totally mindset. Yeah. Like you're playing a competitive game, but the goal of everyone at the table is not to be competitive. Mm-hmm. So you've got the different types of games. Like you have competitive games, you have cooperative games, but then you have to figure out, okay, what's everyone's mindset? Like, what are we all trying to accomplish here? Mm-hmm. Is everyone at the table trying to be not even overly or uber, but just competitive? Yeah. Or is everyone's goal at the table to help everyone else develop their own strategy and or just become a better player?
My goal is to just have a fun time with everyone at the table.
Yeah.
That's what it's gotten to.
Right. And I think also we can still do that and be competitive. It's hard. I think it's for most people. For most people, it's hard.
As long as everyone is there to be competitive, then it's different.
Yeah. Yes.
So as long as everyone is there and agrees, like this is what we're doing, then I think everyone can have fun.
Yeah.
But if it's not,
correct, for sure. No, definitely. So, it's that rule zero conversation for like every game.
Yeah.
You know, you talk about in Magic, you know, especially in Commander, everybody talks about that rule zero.
I was just about to bring this up.
That conversation about, okay, what's everyone's power level of their commander, right? But I think you have to have that rule zero conversation for almost every session. Like if you're playing with people that you don't know, figure out, okay, does everyone, like, what game are we trying to play? Like, is this a game that can be both competitive and cooperative? Like, are you playing Legendary?
Yeah.
Are you playing Legendary?
I was gonna say, also the thing about it is if people aren't used to it from Magic, right, and coming in from other games, they might not know to think like, oh, what does everyone expect from this game, right? They could just be coming into it as like, I'm going to win. I don't care that there's two new people that I brought into the game. And it's like, especially if they've never had to talk about what power level are we playing at? Do I even have anything around that point? Can you guys take some stuff down a little bit? And it's just like, well, it's just random. So
at the end of the day, it really does come down to each individual making the conscious choice of adjusting their mindset from, okay, are we playing competitive or are we playing cooperative? Number one. But even if I am playing competitive, like I have to have a good attitude, right? You have to, like you do. You have to have a good attitude with everyone at the table, and that's just a good rule in life, right? You know, and I think
attitude matters.
I think playing these games on the table gives everyone the opportunity to develop those skills. Right? Because I think it really is a skill.
Or hands are thrown at the table.
Yeah, or tables.
Or tables flipped.
Yeah, that meme. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So putting yourself in those positions gives you the opportunity to honestly, like you're going to show everybody else who you are. You really are.
True colors come out.
They do.
That's for sure.
But and you know what? And if you make a mistake, own up to it and then just do better. You know, that's really what it comes down to. You know, and then have those, like, if you're playing with your friends, like Jim and I, we have played a lot of games together, and there have been multiple times where he's not come at me, but we've talked, and he's been like, okay, yeah, that one time that you said that thing you said or whatever, you need to not do that.
Oh yeah, okay.
There were a couple times. There were a couple times, which honestly, like, you need a friend like that. Like, you need somebody like Jim. You do. Like, honestly,
man, can I get someone like Jim? Please.
Yeah, get yourself some. Man, now I need to come up with like a tagline for that.
Hi, are you looking for a gym? Call 1-800-GYMS-A-LOT.
Yeah, that's good. Dude.
We'll edit that out.
Yeah. No, dude, we're free. We're keeping that in.
Yeah, okay, we're good.
But seriously, like, and honestly, like, it's good if you have a consistent group.
Yeah.
It's good if you have a consistent group. But the thing is, I mean, we've kind of shifted what we're talking about. We've kind of just shifted the conversation, which is fine. And I think it's good because,
I mean, it all plays into the co-op versus competitive games.
Yes, for sure.
Like a lot of the mindset for it.
Totally. But I think if you play with the same group consistently, you're going to notice. You're going to notice things within each player at the table.
Oh, that's for sure.
And then if you get to be good friends, which most of these groups you are, like, you develop good relationships with the people you're playing with.
I mean, we talk about how many games we've played together. Dan knows my strategies pretty much all the time in every single one of these games. If I have a way to screw with someone,
he's gonna do it.
I gotta take it. Like, there's no reason for me not to, or at least try to do it.
Correct. Correct.
So yeah. And for Dan just likes to do his own stuff and go off.
Yeah, and honestly, sometimes I just don't even go for the win. I just go for the key. Let's just keep playing and then just keep having fun.
Yeah.
You know. So we know each other well enough now to totally know each other's strategies, but also we also know kind of how each person's going to react. Jim's much more reserved and laid back. I'm the complete opposite. Totally the
Can
complete
I get a
opposite.
sign that says help?
We'll edit that in there.
Edit that in.
Oh, dude. Yeah. So, but ultimately, and we've said this already so many times this episode, but you put yourself in those positions. You've got to open up the opportunities, put yourself in the positions, develop those character traits. And you know what? You're going to mess up. Like, you're going to have interactions. You're going to have experiences where you mess up.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things that I've learned, and honestly, this is kind of part of who I am. If I mess up, I try to be one of the first people to own up to it. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of the times I don't do the best of that, you know, with the closest people in my life. And unfortunately, it's easier. And I think in general, this is easier to do with people who you're not as close with. Yeah. But it's harder to do with people who are you're closest to, but is own up to your mistakes. Like, as soon as you make a mistake, own up to it. Yeah. Be one of the first people to say, hey, I messed up, you know, apologize, own up to it, and then learn from it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what you have to do. And like, if you get called out, don't get defensive. But, you know, there's this verse, I can't even remember what it was, but it's basically what it says is, you know, be quick to listen, slow to speak, but quick to listen. So, like, if somebody is, you know, like when Jim and I, mostly when Jim has had these conversations with me, telling me where I've messed up, like, the onus is on me to, okay, be quiet, don't talk, but listen. Listen more, and then speak last. Like, let all that information sink in, listen, open up your ears, and then learn from that, understand it, and then move on and get better. Mm-hmm. So ultimately, it does come down to, you know, putting yourself in those situations.
I do a lot of listening.
Yeah.
I do a lot.
Yeah.
I heard every word you said.
Yeah. So, you know, ultimately, it's just put yourself out there, get yourself in the positions, play more competitive games. Yeah. Seriously, like, do it.
Play both. Play a lot more both.
Right.
If you're on one side of the other, play the other ones.
Right. I was more coming at it from the standpoint of, normally those issues arise when you're playing something that's more competitive than something that's more cooperative. Yeah. Or play Secret Hitler. Play a social deduction game.
Oh man, I love social deduction
games.
Yeah.
Like, those will really test your friendships and your relationships.
So will Monopoly.
One of my friends, I've brought it up multiple times. I said, okay, we need to play Secret Hitler. And he's like, no, I will end up hating you, and I don't want to ruin this, so we're not going to play it.
Oh, gosh, that's funny.
It's like, no, we're going to play it.
That is hilarious.
Yes, it is. Maybe I should just say that. I'm like, you know what? I like you too much. Let's just not do it. That way you don't hate me. Let's just not.
Yeah, good call. Yeah, good call.
Yeah. But I mean, okay, so you prefer cooperative.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay.
I believe so.
So if I had to pick, I think I've gotten to the point, I think I prefer cooperative games too.
Yeah.
I think I have more fun playing something that's cooperative. Mm-hmm. I think. Like, the two games that come to my mind are Lord of the Rings, the card game, and Arkham Horror, the card game. I love those games.
Both of those games are so good.
And Marvel Champions too.
Yeah.
All of those living card games.
Still have yet to play that one.
We'll
get there.
We will be doing a lot of Marvel content for
Maybe
sure.
All right, we'll play the game with your wife soon. She seems interested.
Oh yeah, she does. She wants to play that too. Okay. You know what? She just wants to play Scarlet Witch. She loves Wanda.
I thought I was gonna play Control Chaos Control Scarlet Witch.
It's not really control though. Okay. It's really her deck is really weird. Like it's cool. It's very interesting.
Yeah.
And it's totally Scarlet Witch because it's all about chaos.
All right. I just want to play mono green Captain America then. And I hate mono green. But I love defending people and support.
Yeah. Yeah. So once you learn about Marvel Champions, the different aspects, you're gonna have a good time.
Yeah,
I know you're gonna have a good time. But it's those games. I have just had so much fun playing those, and those are even games that you can play single player too, and those are completely different experiences too.
Yeah.
But I like having those options, available to me to play, to have those experiences and play those games that way as well.
Okay.
So like that's interesting. It's an interesting thing, but I really enjoy cooperating with people at the table to overcome a certain obstacle.
Yeah.
Or just develop an engine with someone else versus, hey, I've got my own thing, and then we're just going to go at each other.
Yeah, we got really good stuff that helps each other. And because we were playing the Lord of the Rings game, there was something to where, like, when my characters took damage, I would then gain card advantage, and then you were able to, like, bring them back a little bit. Yes. And then you were able to get card advantage whenever you heal. And it was like, I could deal damage to my guys to then draw cards. And then you do the same thing. And it was a great setup.
Yes. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah. That was a lot of fun. And honestly, I think for me, playing more cooperative games has gotten me to appreciate the competitive ones more.
Yeah.
Because before, because of who I am, I'm so competitive. Mm-hmm. I've approached all of those competitive games just from the standpoint of my only goal here is to win. Don't care how I do it. I'm just going to win. Yeah. I mean, I did care how I was going to do it, right? But I was more so coming at it from, okay, I'm winning, just win. Mm-hmm. Playing more cooperative games, honestly, it totally shifted my mindset from, yes, we still want to win, but now, instead of me just worrying about me, I also have to worry about you, right? And I need to help you, and it's not just every man for himself. It's no, we're literally all in this together, because if you lose, then I lose, and I lose, you lose. It's
sounds like you just want to play more D&D.
Yeah. Yeah, and seriously, like doing that one shot, like that was a blast, dude. That's another thing too, right? That also kind of contributed to it as well. But it's playing more those cooperative games just really got me in that different mindset of, okay, well, this isn't just me against you. Like, we're all trying to accomplish the same goal. So I have to help you, right? And then going back to something competitive is like, okay, now, yes, I am trying to beat you, but if I am beating you and then you're just like having a terrible time, then you're probably not going to be in a good mood, and then you're going to affect me, my mood. You know what I mean? So it's crazy.
Unless you just think it's so funny that they are in a terrible mood.
With some people, yes. There are some people that I can think of literally got their faces right up here. Yeah. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just saying, like, I can think of some people to where...
Did you just point your thumb at me, dude? He's like...
This guy right here. But it's funny, like, if you ever do something like to Jim in Commander, he'll just goes with it. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Normally, he's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
There have been so many times people just want to do something because it's funny. I'm like, you're not wrong. It is funny. Let's make it happen.
Well, there was okay. I can't remember what game it was, like who was playing in the game. But your Perplexing Chimera, I hate that card. I hate that card. I hate that card so much.
Yeah, the card's great.
I think the moment I saw that card, I was like, oh no. I think I was playing Coma, and like I'm literally getting ready to cast Coma.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting ready to cast Coma. Like it's coming to my turn. And I think it was your second main phase. You put down Perplexing Chimera, and then I went, oh no.
Because I'm a good player. You play creatures on main phase too.
Oh no.
Unless it's got haste.
Oh no. And so it goes to my turn. I'm like,
please.
You know what? YOLO.
I think we were playing with the normal 4 at your kitchen table.
Yeah. So I'm like, you know what, YOLO. Let's see what Jim does. So I'm like,
this was your first game with Coma.
It was. So I'm going. I'm like, I'm thinking. I'm like, okay, this is the first time. Let's just see if he lets me resolve it. Let's just see what happens. So I cast it, and I'm like, please let it resolve. You know what, Dan? Go ahead. We'll let it resolve. I'm like, yes. And then I think I proceeded to just
you
kill
took that game over real quick. Yeah, it was that was a game.
Yeah, that was fun.
It's all right though, because I got you back.
Yeah, multiple times.
When we were at a specific game store.
You did.
Down to 3 people.
Yeah, you did. And I was a little salty. But that game was 6 people.
Yeah, it was.
Playing Commander in a 6-man pod is I don't recommend it.
It's a lot of work.
I do not recommend
I recommend it. It was great.
I mean, yeah, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah.
It was just
any more than 6. Don't go more than 6.
No, 6 is the absolute max.
I've had a 9-man game at Grapple. Yeah, it was nuts.
Why would you do that?
We thought it was a good idea.
Who thought it was a good idea?
All 9 of us.
Of course you did. Well, wait. Time out. Were you playing like the that variant where?
No.
Okay.
No, we weren't.
Okay, can you explain that variant real quick to our listeners?
We're talking about Kingdoms?
I don't even know what it's called.
So
I think that's what
the
it's
one
called.
where there's like a lot of different roles and then there's a king.
Yes.
So there's a format called Kingdoms to where you hand out roles to people and it's random. You have the king, the guardsmen, the assassins, and I think there's like something else. I forget. So it's the assassin's job to kill the king, the king's job to stay alive, the guardsman's goal is to keep the king alive, and the king, I don't believe the king knows who anyone is. The assassins know who each other are, and the guardsman knows who the king is.
Yeah.
So it's up to them to be like, oh, I need to kind of protect this guy, and everyone else's job to pretty much kill the king.
Yeah.
So
like it's commander. It's just
it's still a commander, but there's more to it at that point.
Right.
So
right.
Which that game's that mode is crazy as well. So if you got like 6 people, one's the king, 2 guardsmen versus 3 assassins, and the assassin, like no one knows who anyone is except for the guards knowing the king.
Cards, right.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah. All right. Well, what kind of games do you like? Do you prefer cooperative games or do you prefer more competitive games? Let us know. We'd be very interested to know. If you've got any good stories about maybe a competitive game or a cooperative game, let us know. We love getting stories
you guys
that we can
have a
read
story that's bad for me or Dan?
Yes.
Let us know.
If you do, let us know.
If you played a game with us, let
us know. Let us know. We both laugh at ourselves all the time. So if you've got one, definitely let us know. And speaking of, we have one story that we're going to read today.
All right.
This comes to us from one of our friends, Drew.
Yes.
Drew.
I was going to say, he does say we can use his name.
Okay.
So, yeah. I didn't know if he put that in there or if he told me.
No. Okay. All right.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
We're good. Yeah, Drew. So our friend Drew Schmidt.
I don't think he wanted last name, Dan.
Are you serious?
No, we're good, I think.
Oh, my word.
I'm just memeing. Dan's just throwing out names left and right.
Jeez. All right. Well, here we go. All right. So this comes to us from Drew. So here we go. Here are some tales from behind the screen. So we've got a D&D tale here.
Yes.
All right. So this first story is a cautionary tale for players and DMs alike. During session 1 for a campaign that only lasted half an hour, I had set up a story. Everyone had set up their characters and were ready to go. So this is for D&D, right? I had assigned a crystal to everyone, a green crystal for wind, a blue crystal for water, red for fire, and yellow for earth. I had also assigned purple to an unexpected 5th player, so I had to decide what it was on the spot, which I believe I chose soul. Everyone had arrived at a castle with an appointment to see the king. Before the meeting, however, the characters had experimented with the crystals, and realizing they weren't doing anything at the time other than taking space in a bag, they tried getting rid of them to see what would happen. This is when they found out that the crystals were bound to them and would always return. This had actually led to a character selling his crystal to a merchant, which the merchant had lost his perception check and had thought he was robbed almost immediately after the player had left the merchant's site. Now, if this hadn't been figured out already, I had taken the opening to the very first Final Fantasy.
I was going to say, did you know what this was from?
No,
okay.
I did not. So this also means in preparation for this campaign, I had designed monsters from the Final Fantasy universe to D&D statted monsters, from the explosive bombs to behemoths to the infamous Tonberry.
Yes.
They wouldn't see the light of this campaign. The players went to meet with the king, and he had given them a greeting. He told of a prophecy of warriors of light that had been bound to the crystals of the world. The players would show their crystals in their possession, and he would explain they are linked to the true crystals whose energies empower the world to exist. Of course, simply having these crystals wasn't truly enough, and the king had a test. His daughter had been kidnapped, and he needed the warriors of light to venture to the temple to the north and recover her from his most trusted, until now, General Garland. Four of the five players role-played in agreement, and then chose to ignore the fifth player as he argued, "Why do I want to save the world?" As the king would argue, the planet would cease to exist and everyone on it, including the player and any loved ones he had. The player argued and claimed he had no responsibility or willingness to go along with this. So, about 10 minutes of arguing this mission out, I had to call it. Okay, the world has now ended. The crystals have heard the words of light, pleased to not follow with their prophecy, and have given up their energy to run the world. The world is no longer. Campaign failed. I mention this story as a warning to DMs everywhere that there will be players who may not go along with your story, and if you can't move your story along because of this, you may have to shelf a campaign. But this is also a warning to players. It is unwise to commit to actions of a campaign that will end it as such. It shows disrespect and disinterest. Suffice it to say, a player lost a group that day. Yeah, that's very interesting.
When I read this, I was furious, honestly.
Really?
Like, I'm like, how do you go into a D&D campaign and be like, no, I don't want to play?
I don't know, man. Like that, I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. It really doesn't.
Hey, Dan, I'm going to come over later and we'll play a game, but I'm not going to play.
Yeah, it makes no sense. That literally makes no sense to me.
In fact, we're going to have your wife. We're going to have Bobby on. We're going to have some other people. And then I'm going to ruin it for all of you guys.
Yeah.
I'm going to ruin it.
I don't get that. I mean, if you're going into a D&D campaign, a campaign, no less. I mean, forget just a session. Like, I don't understand how you can just do that.
I don't know. Yeah, you're going into a campaign and not even a one shot.
You seem like you're really, really
like
upset.
I was so pissed when I read it. I hit up Drew right after it. I'm like, what the heck? I was so mad, and just like going through it again, I'm like, that sounded so awesome because I'm a huge Final Fantasy fan, and I would have loved to go through that. When he was talking about the exploding bomb, the bombs are great. The bombs are great.
Yeah, right.
Just AoE fire damage if you don't kill them fast enough.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't understand how you can just go into a game and be like, I don't know, man. I mean, D&D is like, it's great to where you can go in and do what you want.
Yeah.
I get that.
It's a co-op game and a competitive game.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, apparently that guy won. He won.
Or lost.
He really lost. It was his loss.
It was totally his loss. It was, you're never invited back.
Yeah, no.
I don't get that.
I don't, because he was saying that it was an unexpected fifth. Who brought them? That's what I want to know. Who brought this player?
Yeah. they might not be invited back.
Did they even bring it up to the DM, or are they just like, yeah, go ahead, come on, we'll be fine. He'll let us in.
Yeah, I don't know. I do not know. Yeah, but I mean that it. Yeah, be warned.
If you guys have had an experience like that, send it in. I'm not going to read it. I'm going to be. I don't want to read it. All right, I'll read it. But yeah, what did you do if you have had that experience? Yeah. What do you think you should do in that case? Because he said he pretty much ended it after 10 minutes. He's like, whatever, it's over.
Dude, I don't know, man. Like that would I'd be frustrated. I'd be upset. Yeah. I would like if I spent, and we've talked about this a little bit because like, you know, we were talking about like DMing and like building these worlds. If I had put all this thought and energy, and you even warned, you were like, be careful if you do that.
Yeah.
If I put all this work into it and like knowing these players are going to go along with it and have fun, like I'm building this specifically for them, and then have somebody come in and just literally just push the blocks over.
Yeah.
I mean, that's frustrating. Like, I get it. I can understand how frustrating that is. Yeah. But at the same time, like I tell this to my kids all the time, like you got to roll with it. It's hard to do, but also, and I tell this to my kids too, people are going to want to play with you. If you're pushing over their toys and knocking stuff down, they're not going to want to play with you.
Oh, I didn't get that memo. That's why I play Control. I didn't get that memo.
But seriously, like, that's literally what I was thinking about. I'm like, dude,
I don't know.
Come on, man.
Like if that happened to me, I don't even know what I would do. If I'm going through this story and someone's just like, no, I don't want to go. There's no reason for me to go. And it's like, well, what do the players want to do? Like, I'll give them opportunities to be like, we force them to go, or you just continue it without them. Yeah. Like, you can enjoy the story. How about that?
Well, there was actually, okay, so in our one shot, okay, in our one shot, there's actually a good example. There was one time where Noah was in the group and he wanted to stay behind
with the goblins.
With the goblins for whatever reason. We're like, all right, dude, we're leaving, man. You can stay here, but we're going. We've got a thing to do, and we are gonna march on and keep going towards this thing. You can stay, do what you want. Yeah. Right. And we did. And so like we all had a good time. Like Noah was doing what he wanted to do, and we were doing what we wanted to do too.
He was the new owner of a bar.
Yes. Yes, he was the new owner of a.
He fought the king goblin for the bar, and by that it was just the bartender that he killed.
Yep. So he won. It's like, okay, well, we're gonna keep going, man. See ya. See you later. Bye bye. Yeah. Yeah. So like,
but that was a one shot. This is a campaign. The start of a campaign. I don't know what you could do. I don't know.
Dude. That's
I probably just would have been like, all right, well, for being a false warrior of light, we will now take your stone and behead you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about this anymore because this is just getting depressing now.
I told you, dude. Like when I read it, I was so furious.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, we've got another one that we're gonna save for another episode from Drew. I think this is a better story, a more fun story, but we'll save that for another episode. So if you've got any stories that you want to let us know, definitely shoot us an email. You can hit us up at hobbiesandhappiness@gmail.com. And lastly today, I want to talk about a Kickstarter. Kickstarter of the week. I don't think we did one last week.
Was it the one you texted me?
No, that's not Kickstarter.
Oh, that wasn't Kickstarter.
That is not Kickstarter.
Okay.
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that next week.
I love that show.
We'll talk about that next week. Okay, we'll talk about that next time.
Yeah.
But today, we talked about it last week. But by the time this episode airs, the Kickstarter will have just launched yesterday. But it is Earthborn Rangers. It is the co-op. So it is Earthborn Rangers is a cooperative It's a cooperative card game by Andrew Navarro, former head of studio at Fantasy Flight Games.
Yeah.
I think we talked about him last week.
Yeah, I think we did.
Where he worked on the Arkham Horror the card game. But he worked on a lot of those games. So like I said, former head of studio of Fantasy Flight Games. Now he runs his own studio called Earthborn Studios.
Okay.
I am trying. I would like to get him on the show. I really want to sit down and talk to him. He's
Can we get Richard Garfield on the podcast?
That would be awesome too. That would be sweet too. But I would love to get Andrew Navarro on the show. And just honestly, just to talk to him about his game, because this game looks awesome. It is
Earthbound or
Earthborn Rangers.
Okay.
Earthborn with an E. It ends in an E. But it is 100% cooperative. It's not about like destroying anything. It's really about like working with the cards, essentially, or your environment.
Okay.
It sounds amazing. So by the time this launches, or excuse me, by the time this episode airs, I'll make sure to leave a link to the Kickstarter in the description. Definitely check it out. But this is a game that I'm going to be backing right away, because this game looks awesome. So definitely check it out.
We're gonna have to watch it after this.
It's not live yet.
Oh, okay.
By the time we're recording
I didn't
this,
know if they didn't have a video or not.
Not yet. Not yet. Not yet. I believe. I believe his company right now is just him, and then he has one other full-time employee. That's it.
Oh,
that's all.
Okay.
That's all it is right now. So this is a game that's not like a pre-order. It's a legit Kickstarter.
Yeah.
He needs all the funds from the Kickstarter to really bring this project to life. And it's these kinds of projects that I get really, really excited for.
Yeah.
I mean, this is something that he really wholeheartedly believes in. It's something he's building his company completely around. About sustainability and like living with the environment. And I think it's a great project. So definitely check it out. I'm hoping to get in touch with him soon. I would love to get him on the show to where we can talk about this even more and really dive into this game. So really excited for that.
I'm interested in this.
Yeah.
Earthborn
Rangers. Yes.
Earthborn Rangers.
Yeah.
Okay.
It looks awesome. So, all right. Well, that is going to be it for us today. Jim, if anybody wants to hit you up, how can they reach you on the internet?
Yeah, you guys can hit me up on Instagram and Twitter at Jim Morgan HNH.
And you can hit me up on Instagram at daniel.g.campbell, and then on Twitter over at _DGCampbell. And then you can find us, the Hobbies and Happiness. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. You can find us on just about all
Discord.
the social platforms.
We got our Discord.
Join our Discord. Yes. Yeah. I was kind of upset this past week. As I was coming back into town, there were a few people trying to meet up and play. Yeah. And I guess it fell through. Like as I'm reading it, because like I'm driving, like I'm trying to get back home.
He's like, I gotta make it.
Yeah. I was tired. I just want to get back home and chill.
Yeah.
But I think the people were trying to meet up like on that Friday.
Yeah.
And so like there's no way I was gonna be able to make it. But like I guess it fell through because somebody showed up and they were like, I guess people aren't here, so I'm leaving. I'm like, oh man.
Wow.
I'm like, come on. That's terrible. So if you are in the Discord, I would like to get another meetup scheduled soon. That way we can all, get together, play some Commander mostly. We've got a lot of Magic players in the community. So we're really trying to grow that community. So definitely check out our Discord. Find us on Facebook. Hit us up on all the social platforms, and look to join our community. We're really looking to grow for sure. So that being said, thanks everybody, and we'll see you next week. All right, see you everybody.